So I've not really known where to go with this or really where to start with this, and I've filmed a couple of things and nothing really seems to click for me. So I'm just kind of gonna I'm gonna free associate a bit. I'm gonna free associate. I'm gonna go off of stream of consciousness and I'm gonna see what comes up. So what I've been asking myself is, why do I want to make a platform? Why do I want to make this channel? What is the purpose of that? And I think for me, recently I've just had my whole life uprooted. A lot of the things that were very fairly stable things that, I was kind of living off of certain platforms, certain programs, I guess. They've just been ameliorated, like they're gone. I have left the job that I had. I've left my, not that long term, but long enough term, over a year relationship. And I've sort of started anew. And it is leading me to think a lot about what I really want to do and what really matters to me. Like, what is actually really meaningful to me? What is worth my time? Who do I actually want to be? And one night, what sort of came up to me is like, oh, the thing that I actually really love more than anything else is self-expression. And at first it's almost like that is always, I've always kind of looked at self-expression as kind of like a byproduct. Like if I love to paint and I'm thinking maybe I should be a painter, like maybe that's my thing, but it never really quite clicks. And then the other thing is therapy. For years, I thought that I was going to go into being a therapist. For years, I thought that that was undeniably like what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a counselor, probably not a psychologist, but I would go into talk therapy kind of thing with counseling. And what I kind of realized about therapy even is that what I actually love the expression and communication. I love being able to get in this kind of space through communication where there's that sort of like there's that just open frame and you can just speak your mind and you can kind of be who you want to be and you can go places. And it's almost like something that I've started to notice with really good quality communication. Like I had a chat with a random guy, random like 80-year-old man at a coffee shop yesterday, and we just spoke for like an hour and a half, and this guy was actually a therapist, funny enough. And in that conversation I noticed like what it is that I really love there is like it's the ability to be able to express like that and to be with him while he was expressing like that. And it's the same with painting. It's like I love to paint so much, and it's like, what is it about it though? It's the picture seems to just become something that I'm really interested in. It's all about self-expression. And the thing that has stayed with me for the longest amount of time is actually journaling. I've filled up, I don't know how many journals I've filled up, but I'm guessing it's probably about 20. And I've gone on and off of it, but over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been very consistent with it, to the point where there have been times where it's basically been the bulk of my day has just been writing in a journal. Because I love to contemplate things. I love to think through things. And I also understand firsthand the power of sort of like identifying what's most limiting and questioning it and breaking it apart and being able to make a bit more sense of it. And the journal format is just phenomenal for me for that. Where, with painting, with like visual art, it's a different kind of thing. It's still, they overlap in some way, but they are different. So I want to talk a bit about what self-expression actually is to me. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days a lot. Like a lot of my day has gone into thinking about what self-expression is to me. I think what self-expression is kind of like it's giving yourself to a medium, right? when you have your medium, whether that be like painting or whether that be writing for you or making music, or even if it's like something more like mountain biking or martial arts, that's like your medium. But there's something like behind that form that's your medium that is being expressed, right? And at different phases in our life, I think that we have different meanings. We have different things that we're looking to express through what we're doing. Like, for example, for me, for years, I was really, really, really interested, it's a lot of reallys. I was interested in bodybuilding. I was very interested in my fitness and my physique. From probably about 16, that's when I started going to a gym first time. And I got all into it. I watched all the videos, I read all the stuff, and I ate the chicken breast and the rice and the broccoli and took the creatine and did the whole shtick. And what I started to notice over time is that I started to lose interest in bodybuilding in the way that it's like I kept doing it, but I lost interest in it for a long time. It was just kind of like a program I was running into. And then what I started to realize over time, and my therapist helped me see this, is that really, I think the reason I lost interest is because I stopped wanting, it's like when I started doing it, it allowed me to express something in particular about myself. And at the time I was like very angry and I was very frustrated with my home environment and my family environment. And I didn't know what I wanted to do or who I wanted to be in the world. And I think that the bodybuilding and the weightlifting was kind of like an outlet for that sort of like, it was somewhere I could enter into and experience some kind of like control and power and dedication to a thing. And I think it allowed me to feel like I had some control when through most of my life, I just did not feel like I had control in anything. I felt like very like under the thumb. Where over time, I guess I kind of moved around and I had sort of a bit more direction with things. And although maybe I didn't, and I still have not really felt like complete control in what I'm doing, I think I started to lose it's like I didn't need to express that outlet was not really appropriate for what I was looking to express anymore. But I kept doing the bodybuilding and I actually started to like it in like a different way. And it stopped being kind of about the sort of like the alpha, like lifting weights, dude, like lifting weights, bruh, thing. Stopped being about that. And it started being more about like creating something beautiful. And I would look at it more like, I would go in and I would sort of like lift weights. I'd put my earphones in and I'd really get into like a rhythm. And I'd slowly like bench and, you know, feel the mind muscle thing. And like, I couldn't always get into that place because I was going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I didn't expect to go in there every time and have this like super aligned flow session. But that's what I was aiming towards, and really what I liked about physique building is it was kind of like sculpting. You know, it was like sculpting this thing that I really liked. And after a while, it just stopped interesting me entirely. Like it wasn't an appropriate medium for me to express what I wanted to anymore. And then gradually over time, it's turned more into communication and painting. Painting has been like really what I get so much more value out of in terms of beauty in painting than what I ever did with fitness and bodybuilding. Even though I still work out, it's not for the same reasons whatsoever. And journaling is a really interesting medium, an interesting outlet, because when I journal, it's like I can do this incredible thing where I can actually like sort of find what I can sort of pick what I'm thinking about. And I can sort of like, oh, right, I'm believing this thing. I'm going in this direction with things. I'm operating under like sort of a program in a way. And I can sort of question it to death, right? I can sort of pick it apart and contemplate it, and it starts to look like a complete different thing. And I find like a remarkable kind of freedom in that. And although it doesn't solve like it, you know, it's not solved all my problems, but it sort of gives me like a way to just it helps me look at things from a complete different angle, and it also helps me just put stuff down. I think I really need a place to be able to put my thoughts down, because there's so much that I'm usually thinking about, and there's so much that I'm usually feeling, that it's cathartic to me to simply just have somewhere to lay it down. To be honest, I don't really know what I would do without any platform for that. The prospect scares me though, because I think I always will want something for that. So and yeah, you know, there's other kind of like, so self-expression is really about having sort of like a medium. It's kind of like the energy that you bring to the medium. It's a bit difficult to really explain, because if the medium, for example, is like bodybuilding like that, is bodybuilding the self-expression? It's like, well, no, bodybuilding is like the consequence of the self-expression. It's well, you're using bodybuilding as like a vehicle, right? That's kind of how self-expression works in my mind. The actual weightlifting and the process of bodybuilding in that case is like a tool for the self-expression to move through. It's kind of like, there's what you're expressing, which is like light, and then there's like bodybuilding, which is like a bulb. It's like it's a medium, it's a platform, it's a structure. Which is why I'm talking right now into the camera, because I'm attempting to play around with different mediums that allow me to express more of myself, and that I want to find the best mediums for where I want to be and for what I want to do. And at random, what came up is, okay, create a blog and start writing, start sharing your experience more, and create a YouTube channel. And I was kind of scared about doing that and didn't really know where that was going to go or if anyone would see any of it, but I'm kind of all right with that. So I'm going to see what happens by just jumping in with both feet. The other interesting thing about self-expression I notice is that, like, if you think about it, we're always kind of expressing something. Like, everything we do in a way is kind of an outlet for some form of expression, right? It's all form of expression in a way. Like, if I have I don't know, like if I go on a date and I meet a girl, we hang out, it's like I'm expressing something through going on that date, right? I might not be conscious that I'm expressing something inside of me. I might not be conscious of my motive or the thing that's actually driving me in that situation. But that is what's happening, right? Like, I'm expressing my desire to her, and I'm also sort of acting in a way where it's like I'm expressing my desire to be desired. And I'm expressing my desire to socialize and to connect. And if I want to go deeper, it's like, you know, I'm not just having a conversation with her sheerly because I like talking to her. It's like, no, it's because there's a deeper need for me to connect and communicate and to share and to be shared too, to receive. And the same with the sex. It's like, yeah, in a way it feels good to have sex, and it is just a, you know, natural physiological pattern, and great. But really it's like I'm expressing something through that, right? Like, I might want to express my dominance, or I might want to express my submissiveness, or I might want to express, again, my desire to be desired, or my desire for her. And there's kind of like this interplay and this dance of expression that's happening in all of these situations, whatever they may be. And you can even take it as far as like to look at behavior patterns. Like, I've looked at this a lot in regards to addiction. Like, I've been an addict in the past of various things, but substances as well. And what I've noticed with substance addiction is, like, when I kind of look at it for what it is a bit deeper, when I'm a little less caught in it, it's like, what is actually happening here is that I don't really know how to just be in the evening, for example. Like, I can go do stuff all day, but I don't really know how to just come home and be sober and to just be. I don't know how to just make a meal and hang out and read a book, or to think about some stuff, or to clean my apartment. It's like, I don't know how to do that. And there's these certain beliefs I have about the situation, about how it's like, oh, well, maybe I can do that today, but how am I going to do it tomorrow indefinitely? What am I going to... And it's like I get caught in all that. And it sort of also bespeaks a lack of trust on my part, because I don't really know how to trust life to take care of me. I don't really know how to trust that I'll grow into the kind of man and the kind of soul that I need to be. I don't know that. And that breeds a lot of insecurity. And then the drug taking can be like a reaction to that insecurity, right? It's like I'm expressing the fact that I'm afraid in this moment by the behavior of taking drugs or drinking or whatever else, right? I'm expressing the fact that it's like I'm actually really struggling here and I don't really know what to do, more than anything else. But I think the amazing thing I am noticing is that if I have like appropriate forms of expression, like if I have an outlet for expression that actually matches me well and that actually makes sense to me and that actually works for me, it's like I'm expending energy, but it's almost like it pays dividends. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's energetically expensive in a way to sit and contemplate in the evening, or to read like this like literature that you're really interested in, or to work out, or to put things into yourself. Yeah, it's expensive energetically, but it always pays off, and it's kind of like adding grist for the mill for the way you kind of want to live. Where if you're doing all these things that you're actually misaligned, that in misalignment with you, like you know that you don't really want to be doing these things, you know that they're not really the right things to do, but then you keep doing them anyway. At least what I've noticed with it is that like gradually I start to feel like someone I don't really want to feel like, because I don't really feel like I have control over myself. I don't really feel like I have control over my life. And that's why I've made a lot of big drastic decisions recently, like quitting my job this week, because although in some ways it was a fine job, but it's like the reason I quit was because I realized that this is not really what I want. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I'm afraid and because everyone tells me I need to do it. But really within myself, it's like, this is not really an appropriate outlet for me, because I feel like I'm in touch with myself. And what I know is I feel anxiety before I go in there. I feel stress. I don't like the environment. And that tells me that at the inner level, it's like I'm picking up that this is not a substance that should be in my life. And it's like, no, I don't have a plan. No, I don't know what I'm going to do next. But if I always like just waited around to have a plan before I did what I was going to do next, or before I made my choice or made my decision, took action, then maybe I'd be waiting around forever. And in essence, that's why this video is being made, because it's like I want to start taking action now on what I'm doing, and I want to find the right kind of outlets for expression for me. And there's a bit of free association on self-expression. Maybe nothing too excellent, but it's a start, and I'm going to be doing this more often just to get familiar with the whole thing. And thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one of these that I make, and I'll leave the blog stuff down below.